Sal Stewart is being disrespected in the NL Rookie of the Year race, and we won't stand for it.
You are Locked On Reds, your daily Cincinnati Reds podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey there, welcome in. I'm Stephen Offenbaker. He's Jeff Carr. You are Locked On Reds. Thanks for being an everydayer. We appreciate you being here. A little bit later in today's show, we're going to get you set for this weekend series with the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Reds got that coming up, and we're going to break it down for you here in a minute. We're also going to talk about the coaching. We're going to talk about the fundamentals. We're going to talk about playing the game the right way, and we're going to talk about all those things hearing right from the horse's mouth. We're going to take you all the way back to Tito's first day as the skipper of the Cincinnati Reds and see just how they've done fulfilling some promises that were made by Tito. But where we are going to begin, Jeff, is with Sal Stewart. And I have a theory as to why this is happening, but the disrespect is real. It's a little irritating. Folks that are around this team every day and watch this team every day and cover this team, prime example is Cowboy, because Jeff Brantley has had enough of the disrespect that Sal Stewart has been getting and is openly starting to push back against it, which I am glad for, because Sal Stewart is not being treated the way that I think his play deserves he be treated. Now, I get it. Defense is important. We're going to talk a lot about that in the next segment. We're going to talk about defense and how important defense is, but it's certainly not the be all end all. And it is not, let's just say, worth 60% of the consideration when you're talking about which player is overall performing well. And of course, we're talking about Sal Stewart versus JJ Dirty Bird Weatherholt. And the fact that he continues to get, it's a neck and neck race. It's, he's really edging out Sal Stewart. He's not, Jeff. The statistics are clear.
No, and the annoying part about this, Steve, is that who votes for these awards? Writers, national writers. National writers are the ones that are disrespecting Sal Stewart, because Mike Petrello on Twitter just the other day said, I completely and fully get the quote, but Sal Stewart is going to have 100 RBIs, unquote. Totally. That's a huge number. I don't get the argument for him in any way that doesn't start with RBI, though. Steve, when it comes to the national media, they think that Sal Stewart's a one-trick pony. And if it weren't for the RBI statistic, he wouldn't even be here. He wouldn't even be in the conversation. And I think it's hilarious, because there's so much more to Sal Stewart's hitting ability than just the number of runs that he's driven in. Never mind the fact that RBI requires that somebody's on base. And, oh, by the way, the Reds are horrible at that. It just tells you the efficiency with which Sal Stewart hits on a daily basis. But before we get into all of that, the other side of this argument is, well, JJ Weatherholt has a higher WAR, a higher wins above replacement. The reason for that is defensive statistics.
Yep.
Defensive statistics were created by human beings, as all statistics are. But you can draw runs and production from the batting side of things. Defensive statistics are all subjective. They are all things that were created. And so in a subjective world, JJ Weatherholt has more value than Sal Stewart does. This is where the wins above replacement thing, where we talk about a guy's WAR and we say this is the beginning of understanding where a player's value comes from. It is not the end all be all, and that is what is being treated as in this argument.
Isn't it funny that this feels an awful lot like the Tony Perez argument when it comes to the Hall of Fame?
It does.
That,
yeah, 100%.
I have a kind of blanket floor of 60 WAR for Hall of Fame, and that's kind of what I use to filter with. And then of course you have to go from there, and you have to make nuanced adjustments from there. But if you did that with Tony Perez, his career WAR was 53.9, but the WAR argument here in this argument of Weatherholt versus Stewart is the same as the WAR argument when you were talking about, is Tony Perez a Hall of Famer? And this RBI argument, is very reminiscent of the kind of talk you get about Tony Perez. Is, oh, well, he's just because he had a lot of RBIs. He was an RBI guy, 1,652 RBIs in his 20-plus year playing career. Yeah, but he also had 379 home runs. He also had. And that's the thing with Sal Stewart, because if you just there it is. Thank you for throwing that up. If you take the statistics and you just look at what's going on, JJ Weatherholt, yes, has 4.8 in wins above replacement compared to Sal Stewart's 2.1. Look at the rest of the numbers. Sal Stewart leads in games, 128 to 123. He does trail in plate appearances. I mean, maybe that's the difference maker, Jeff. Weatherholt,
4 plate appearance difference. Yeah.
553. Right. Hits. Sal Stewart has more hits. Sal Stewart has more home runs by a lot, 27 to 16. Sal Stewart has more RBIs, 96 to 46. Wow. And it's not about where they're batting in the lineup, because JJ Weatherholt hits high in the lineup. Sal Stewart's hitting high in the lineup. JJ Weatherholt has Sal in stolen bases by 1. JJ has 13. Sal has 12. Batting average, 243 to 259 in favor of Sal Stewart. On base percentage, now here is where JJ Weatherholt does a really good job. He gets on base a lot. He gets on base at a 348 clip compared to Sal Stewart's paltry 335, Jeff. I mean, maybe that's what the voters are going to be looking at. But here you go. Big numbers. Bam, slugging. A big lead 100. For Sal Stewart. 474 to 373. 100 points in slugging. OPS. Almost 100 points, 809 to 721. And then you get to the number that I like to use the most. This is the quick, the dirty, the look that you can take at players and see how they're performing. OPS plus. Sal Stewart right now is playing 21% better than league average with an OPS plus of 121. JJ Weatherholt, 106. He's just 6% better than league average. This, to me, when you look at this and you have a national baseball writer saying, I just don't get an argument that's beyond RBI. If you put this in front of them and they stick to that, they should lose their job, because they clearly have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, and I think it's ridiculous, too, when you consider the Sal's played 83 games at first base. He's played 45 games at third base. He's played 8 games now at second base. I mean, he's playing all over the diamond. He has been super valuable in that respect. He also has a couple of games DH, but I mean, like, whatever on that bit. The whole thing here is the defensive value is the difference. And there's a little bit of base running value that is the difference. But are we really going to sit here and say, well, because JJ Weatherholt's better with the glove, he's the better rookie player. He has had the better season. We are talking about a slump because JJ Weatherholt's currently mired in a bit of a slump here that's really tanked his offensive value. If it continues, Steve, his OPS plus might fall below 100. And then are we really going to say that a below league average hitter deserves to be the rookie of the year, where we've got Sal Stewart that is just absolutely on fire? And this has nothing to do, by the way, with the value provided to the team and how he is helping the team win, because that's not part of the equation. That is an MVP discussion. Rookie of the year is an individual award. And individually, Sal Stewart provides much better production than JJ Weatherholt has. And even too, Steve, like I'm remembering, and this obviously the national writers should consider this in the equation. They probably won't. But our friend JD Haffern over at Locked On Cardinals says that Sal Stewart should win the Rookie of the Year over JJ Weatherholt. That is a Cardinals man talking about the fact.
We should have pulled that clip out. Yeah, we should have clipped that. Maybe we need to go get that for future use.
But the thing, and just to reiterate this, where we are coming from with this argument is the fact that Mike Petrello from MLB Network is saying that Sal Stewart is a one-trick pony. I think it is ridiculous to say that outside of one statistic, there is no other argument for Sal Stewart. We can get into his clutch statistics with runners in scoring position, with runners on third base, with the bases loaded, with 2 outs, and like all these different things. You can go really granular on how clutch Sal Stewart really is. And yet for some reason they're like, yeah, but I mean, outside of RBI, I mean, what is his argument? He's got so much to it, and he should be the Rookie of the Year.
So and I want to get to this before we jump out of this segment, because here's a piece of this, Jeff. And for a long time, I've thought it's just because of my fandom and having a little bit of a chip on my shoulder based on what we've had to put up with in the city of Cincinnati with its football team, what we've had to put up with its baseball team, how they're run, what the results have been, the 90s, all those things. But there is a component that has become quantifiable, a component that's palpable when the national media discusses this city and its sports franchises, whether you're talking about football, whether you're talking about baseball, whether you're talking about college even. You look at the city of Cincinnati, there is a level of disrespect and there is a level of second-class citizenry that is being applied to the city by the national beat writers for whatever sport you're talking about. And it goes back to, I think, the train wreck of ownerhood that the professional sports franchises in Cincinnati have had. The sport does not take the Castellini family seriously. Where are you going to go? Peaks and valleys. What's going to happen? The city, the national sports landscape doesn't take the Bengals ownership seriously either. And we see it in how the Brown family is treated. We see it in how the Hall of Fame treats Bengals players. We've seen
Anderson,
it across the board. Ken Anderson, Ken Riley, these kind of things. So this, I think, is another example of the national people, the national coverage of sport in the city of Cincinnati, just kind of throwing a slap down on the fans and the players and the people that are here every day watching these sports, participating in these sports, playing these sports. They don't get treated the way that they should be. And I think it goes back to the comical level that the ownership groups rise to here in this city.
Which also falls under the whole, like, well, he's helping his team win or whatnot, and that's not part of the equation. He should also not be penalized for his owners. He should be the rookie of the year. But I will say this, Steve, there's definitely a lot more about this team than just Sal Stewart. Sal Stewart's the bright spot. What we saw on Thursday afternoon, what I saw in person, was horrible. It is a theme that has continued for the last couple of years. It's continued even before Terry Francona got here. But Terry Francona said things whenever he got here that said that those would end. Well, we are still waiting on when that will actually take place.
I was juggling a couple different apps the other day, and then I realized to myself, why don't I just use our friends at Clutch Parlays? Because that is their expertise. Instead of going to multiple different apps to check different injuries and betting lines, I can see it all in one with our friends at Clutch Parlays. And a little bit of bonus there is they give you data to back their bets. Maybe you want to do a double for a star player that night. They can give you the percentage of what they hit on for that exact bet. And that's why I love our friends at Clutch Parlays. But here's the offer for you. Find the best line and build smarter parlays. Track every bet and make more informed betting decisions, all with ClutchParlays.com. Right now, Clutch Parlays is offering a great deal for Locked On listeners. Your first month free on a monthly plan. They want to make sure that you get a real chance to try it out and see what it can do for you. Go to ClutchParlays.com today and use code Locked On to claim it. ClutchParlays.com. Bring together live odds, line shopping, predictions, bet tracking, analytics in one place so you can bet with more confidence.
Can we talk about one of the most underrated organs in your body, your liver? It's the body's filter, processing everything that you consume and performing more than 500 functions every single day. It's involved in things like energy production, digestion, fat metabolism, and vitamin storage. So it's doing a lot of work behind the scenes. That's why giving your liver daily support can be an important part of building healthy habits. Dose for Your Liver is a clinically backed liver health supplement designed to support daily liver function. The nice thing about Dose is that it is that 2-ounce shot. You don't have to worry about mixing up some kind of powder or anything like that. You can just take the shot and help your liver every single day. Ready to give your liver the support that it deserves? Head to dosedaily.co/LockedOnMLB or enter LockedOnMLB to get 35% off your first subscription. Your body does so much for you. Let's do something for it. That's dosedaily.co/LockedOnMLB for 35% off your first month subscription. Thank you for making Locked On Reds part of your day, and thanks for helping make Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Lock in by joining the Locked On Reds Everydayer Club. We have a link down in the description below, or if you want to type into your URL, lockedonreds.supercast.com. It's $5 a month, $50 for the whole year. You get an ad-free podcast audio feed, and you get access to an exclusive Q&A with Steve and myself. Really just a conversation, not even really a Q&A, but Q&A basically for our Everydayer Club members only. We will let you know the first date of that here very, very soon. We keep talking about it here for the promo and then forget to do it off air. So maybe we ought to do that here very soon, but we'll let you know. Eventually join the Everydayer Club today. All right, Steve, Thursday afternoon sucked. I was there. I saw the awesome grand slam that Matt McLain had. I got a autographed Chase Burns card, which I should have had it so that I could put it up on camera. It was awesome. Opened it at a pack at the Hit Seekers booth over there. Shout out to our friends over at Hit Seekers. It was a fantastic day until Dane Myers decided to run down a fly ball, and he didn't physically TJ Friedl out of the way, but basically sort of philosophically trucked TJ Friedl out of the way to try and catch a ball that he then did not catch, and the Reds lost the ball game because of that ridiculous play. The point is, this is more of the same. Like I crashed out on that play on TikTok and all that other stuff. You can go check that out. It's watching it back. It's kind of funny. It's more of the same of what we've seen from this team for years and years and years. This was before Terry Francona got here. But when Terry Francona got here, this is what he said.
I firmly believe players enjoy being coached as long as there's always a solid reason and you're ultra organized, and that we will be. My promise to the organization and to the fans is that I'll spend all my energy ensuring that they spend all their energy trying to play the game correctly and with respect. One of my biggest goals is to have our players feel like they're cared for more than ever before, but at the same time asking more of them on the field than's ever been done before. We need to find ways to value what it takes to be successful and win more than every other team we compete against. That is a formidable task. If it wasn't, everybody would win. But that's our goal starting from day one.
When's that going to happen?
There's a couple things here.
It hasn't.
This might take you by surprise. Let's start with the dropped fly ball. Let's start with Dane Myers in center field. What if I hypothesize to you that while you're correct, TJ Friedl probably had a better angle. TJ Friedl probably makes that catch.
It looked like he was camped out underneath it.
Here's the thing. TJ, I shouldn't even be on this roster. Friedl is no longer the center fielder of this ball club. The center fielder of a Major League Baseball team is the general in the outfield. They're in charge. They call the ball, they call it once, and you get out of the way. TJ Friedl was arguing with Dane Meyer about who was going to catch that ball. The second that Dane Meyer called that ball, TJ Friedl should have been moving to a position of backing up the play. He was not. He was continued to try to fight for the ball. That was Dane Meyer's ball the second he called it. So the fact that he dropped it, I think a little bit to do with the sun. And we've had the sunglasses fun, and we've talked about the things, and Tito tried to
did a great bit on that on the post.
But at the end of the day, Dane Meyer called the ball, and TJ should have moved. And would Dane Meyer have caught the ball if he wasn't having to worry about crashing into TJ Friedl, keeping track of where the wall was, making sure that TJ didn't move into the wrong spot, and all of these other things? If he simply had to go catch the ball, I think Dane Myers goes and catches that ball. I think TJ Friedl, and the fact that he has lost his job and he has lost his status and he has lost basically his baseball ability, weighs into this a lot more than anybody's really wanting to say out loud. So while you're not wrong, TJ Friedl probably makes that catch. Dane Meyer probably makes that catch too, as long as TJ Friedl does what he's supposed to do. So I don't know that I want to assign all of the blame to Dane Meyer here.
Fine. If we want to have that discussion, we can. Whether it's Dane Meyer or whether it is TJ Friedl's fault, fine. It all points back to the same thing. When are they going to play the game the right way? When are we going to stop seeing these fundamental mistakes by everyone. It literally infects everyone on the team. When are we going to stop seeing that? Because I was told on day one of the Terry Francona era that it was going to stop. And those first couple of months of 2025 were rough, especially for Elly De La Cruz. We all remember that. Things have started to get better in Elly's realm, but Elly still makes those fundamental errors. We saw that quite heavily whenever Edwin Arroyo was brought up. Now, he played out of position, sure, but there were very fundamental plays that he wasn't making. We see that from time to time from Sal Stewart. We've seen errors from Ke'Bryan Hayes, who I was told was coming here to not make errors. So there's just so much about this that I'm like, yes, I am fine to have the discussion about whose fault it was for that one catch, but we continually make this fight. And I saw a stat that was posted according to Fangraphs, and going back to the defensive conversation of baseball, that when it comes to defensive runs saved, there's only one team in Major League Baseball that has a worse number than the Reds do. The Reds are negative 38, and the Twins are negative 39. This team was said to be built on run prevention, and it's horrible at that. It's very mid at pitching. It's 24th in both ERA and fielding independent pitching. So they just don't prevent runs. But also they don't hit. They're dead last in the league in batting average. So when will coaching make up for this?
That's really the problem. You know, do we believe that this team was ever really built on run prevention? It's never been built on run prevention. You know how I know that? Because half of the outfield is made up of infielders, because nobody has a permanent position. Everybody's moving around. We just talked about the value that Sal Stewart brings by playing all over the place. The real problem here is that the organizational philosophy, the front office, the people that we have entrusted with identifying and developing the talent don't have anybody that has a home. Don't have anybody that has a permanent position not named Elly De La Cruz or Tyler Stevenson. And they tried to move Ty Steve. There is nobody that just goes and works on their craft and gets better defensively and plays the game. There's nobody that does that. So if we're going to hold the coaches accountable for like not bringing the defense and not bringing the level of playing the game the right way, cool. But also maybe give Francona some real outfielders. And then we can talk about the outfield play and the outfield defense and playing it the right way. But you're talking about guys in multiple occasions. They did this with Noelvi. They did this with Spencer Steer. They've done this with a lot of the players where it's like, not only are we going to play you out of position, but we're going to just do it today. Yeah, I realize you've never played out there. Yeah, I realize that you don't have a single professional inning in the outfield, but today's the day, boo. Go figure it out. And that's how this team has approached defense. So, you know, is that a Francona problem? Is that a coaching / development?
That's a front office problem.
Or is that a front office problem? So, you know, buddy, I want to hold Tito accountable just like everybody else. And I want to say that there have been some real disappointments with the way this has gone, because there have. But I want to be fair. And I don't know that pointing at Tito and saying, you said you were going to eliminate this crap and you didn't. I don't know that that's a fair approach when, you know, we're asking him to you know, field a baseball team with, you know, soccer players. It's not.
There was a quote from Phoebe Buffet that certainly fits Nick Kroll. Plan? I don't even have a pla.
On that note, the Reds are playing the Diamondbacks, Jeff. I don't know if you knew this or not. The Reds are playing the Diamondbacks this weekend, and we're going to break it down coming up next. Before we get into the rest of today's show, it's time for the Everyday Icon presented by Stance. As the official sock partner of Major League Baseball, Stance knows greatness isn't built in a single moment. It's earned over time through consistency, through preparation, through showing up each and every day. That's why each week we're going to recognize one player whose performance embodies those same qualities. We've been talking about Sal Stewart, Cincinnati Reds Rookie of the Year lock. If you're listening to us, Sal Stewart has been getting it done, and he definitely demonstrates those qualities. We talked about his stats earlier. He has a batting average of 259, best on the team, and his OPS plus, he is playing 21% better than league average. Sal Stewart's going to continue to get it done. He is an everyday icon, brought to you by Stance. Check out the icon collection from Stance if you're looking for some really comfortable socks. I have these from Stance. These are from the Major League Baseball collection, the City Connect socks that Stance puts out for the Cincinnati Reds. These things are so comfortable. I love them. I have several pairs. I'm probably going to end up getting more. If you'd like to get your own, just use the promo code Locked On at checkout and you're going to get 20% off your purchase. Stance is the official sock partner of Major League Baseball. Learn more at stance.com. If you've got a sweet tooth like I do, you know how tough it can be to find the perfect treat without all the sugar. That's why Fruity Rainbow 5-Hour Energy Shot brings the nostalgic flavor back in a whole new way. Fruity Rainbow 5-Hour Energy Shots treat your taste buds to an explosion of fruity flavors with a tasty caffeine kick. It's a quick, easy way to satisfy your sweet craving while keeping things simple and on the go. I love these 5-Hour Energy Shots. They're in a little tiny package. I can keep them in my scrub pocket for my other gig. And as the day gets a little long and I get a little tired, a little 5-Hour Energy Fruity Rainbow, and bam, I am right back in the game and right back into action. I like how convenient they are to carry around. I like how easy they are to just have on me all the time. Get candy flavored chaos with 5-Hour Energy's Fruity Rainbow flavor shots, available online or at 5hourenergy.com or over at Amazon. If you can't watch us here on YouTube, we are available on pretty much every single podcasting platform that's out there. If you find one we're not on and you need us to be there, shoot Jeff a message. He can probably make it happen for you. That's also where the Everydayer Club lives. Ad-free Locked On Reds available in the audio feed. $5 a month, $50 a year. The link for that is down in the show description. All right, Jeff, as fun as that Cardinal series was, on to more baseball. The Reds play the Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks haven't really gotten their fair share of national attention, I don't think, but this is not a bad baseball team. This is a team that's at times capable of playing some really good baseball. And I think they're probably going to just give the Reds fits over the weekend.
Yeah. I mean, the Reds are going from playing the wonderful St. Louis Cardinals to playing the Arizona Diamondbacks, who are much closer to a playoff position than the St. Louis Cardinals, albeit it's only by a game and a half, but the Diamondbacks actually got a major league player from the Cardinals. So if you want to compare that, the Cardinals were the sellers and the Diamondbacks were the buyers in that trade, in that, yes, we did not see Lars Nootbaar whenever the Cardinals came into town, but we will see him in a Diamondbacks uniform. He hit his first home run as a Diamondback a couple of days ago. So he's kind of starting to heat up out there in the desert, but the Diamondbacks come in 67 and 61, the antithesis of the Cincinnati Reds at 61 and 67. And the probable starters for this series are a little bit intriguing because the Reds will see Eduardo Rodriguez, the big free agent signing that the Diamondbacks made a couple of off seasons ago. They will see Michael Soroka, a guy who has bounced around trying to stay healthy and trying to get back what he once had, which was he was a top prospect in the Braves organization. And he's pitched for a couple of different teams, trying to get back going for the Diamondbacks. And then they will see a guy on Sunday in Mitch Bratt. And I think it's Brett, or is it Brott? Mitch Brott. So I'm going to be hungry the entire game on Sunday. The entire game. I'm just going to be hungry. He's an interesting dude in that he's only pitched in a couple of ball games. He's got 8 starts so far this season. His fielding independent pitching says that his 4.17 ERA is lucky. His FIP is 5.38. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that he just walks a ton of people. His strikeouts per 9 is 6.1. His walks per 9 is 5.4. So we're almost talking about the starters version of Connor Phillips here. Reds are going to need to be patient on Sunday. They might have a chance to win the series if they can win one of the first 2 games, because they'll have Andrew Abbott on the mound on Sunday as well. Nick Lodolo on the mound for the first one. Second game, there isn't a listed probable starter here. I'd be curious to see if it's Rhett Lauder. I don't know why it wouldn't be Rhett Lauder, but this is an interesting series in which the Reds on paper don't look as good as the Diamondbacks, but they could, if they play the game the right way, get something done.
Yeah, I'm watching these next couple series, Jeff, because I really feel like, we're entering that point where Is it possible to beat the Diamondbacks? Yes. Is it possible to win, a couple more series heading into September? Yeah. That September stretch of schedule is coming. We've been looking at it since the schedule came out. We've been looking at what this schedule kind of shapes up for the Reds. It's about to get real difficult real quick. And, I hope the Reds can pull off the next couple series because they might be the last couple series wins of the season. It's going to be pretty ugly for a long stretch of time here in about a week or so.
Yeah, the next 6 games are Arizona and San Francisco, and then you just play good teams. You got Cubs, Padres, Brewers, Dodgers, Cubs, and then Braves and Blue Jays to end out the season. Blue Jays will be above 500 at that point, probably be in a playoff spot at that point as well. They're playing playoff teams the rest of the way. It's a tough road. So if they're going into that tough road, these next 6 games, they got to go 4-2. And they're going to have to do it on the road out west where they don't play well. Even with the Giants. The Giants are not a good ball club, but they're going to be playing in San Francisco where I won't be there. And the last time they were in San Francisco, I was there. That's why they were winning. Now I'm not going to be there. We're going to have to see how they play without me in attendance in San Francisco. I don't know. Maybe I should hop on a plane, go out there, get me a crab sandwich and some garlic fries. But
I was going to say it will certainly help concession sales, and you nailed that. So,
but I know this, like the guy that I'm keeping an eye on because he has been very interesting here recently, and I've talked a lot of crap about him. Is Matt McLain. I've said that, and I errantly said that I'm the one who said he should be DFA. I didn't think he should be DFA, but I think he should be non-tendered with the way that he played this season. But as of here recently, like the month of August specifically, he's turning things around. Even the month of August, our dude is slugging 508, and we got an OPS of 832. He's really worked hard on his craft. He's got 4 homers this month. Of course, we saw the grand slam that did not amount to what we hoped it would amount to on Thursday afternoon. It really seems like he's turning a corner a bit, and he can continue to do that in these cavernous outfields of Arizona and San Francisco, where we should hopefully see some more extra base.
Yeah, would love to see him go have himself a couple big series. Something's definitely switched. There's been a switch that has flipped. Hopefully, somewhere here along the way, we will hear from Matt about exactly what led to this renaissance of at-bats. And that is where we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for today. Thanks, as always, for making Locked On Reds your first listen each and every day. For the audio folks, go check out Locked On MLB. Sully's got you covered over there with Major League Baseball from a national perspective. Also, former Reds reliever Mike Stanton back to the bullpen. He's going to break down Major League Baseball from a retired player's perspective. And, of course, the folks at MLB Game Night, they're watching every single game, every single night, so that you don't have to. For the video folks, we're going to send you over to Locked On's first ever 24/7 national YouTube channel where all of the experts of the entire network are talking ball 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Jeff and I will be back in your feeds on Monday, gathering up all of the news, the notes, the rumors, the reports, the information to keep you locked on Reds every single day.
Between thinking about the probable starter for the Diamondbacks on Sunday named Brat and crab sandwiches in Stanford, I'm hungry. Let's go eat.
Lunchtime.